Still live.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Arcade City Podcast number 5. This week we got a lot going on. Holiday is right around the corner, and it's Brandon and Kevin again. So Kevin, what do you got going on for the holiday?
Yeah, Christmas. I wrapped a bunch of presents today for the girls, and that's it. I was going to treat myself to watch The Wolverine tonight, but I just didn't get around to getting that done yet. So I have not seen that yet. So and it's out on streaming video. So maybe
Oh,
I'll do that tomorrow. It's
I
supposed
just caught
to.
up. I just caught up on Scott Pilgrim myself.
I love that movie. That is seriously one of my top five favorite movies.
I had never seen it. I wanted to rent it at one point for to watch with my stepsons,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know. I wasn't familiar with her at all. I knew that Michael Cera was in it, and
Yeah.
I was like, he's all right. Edgar Wright did it. It should be good. And then I was told, yeah, no, you can't watch that movie with kids. I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
why.
I didn't
I,
think it was that bad for kids.
nah, I didn't. I didn't either.
I
But
mean, it's got some
apparently,
violence in it, but it's cartoony violence. Did you like
yeah.
it?
Yes, I did a lot. I really
I
liked.
thought it was awesome. I thought the way they did the graphics, the comic book style graphics
Yep.
with I
I thought,
love that movie.
yeah,
Love it.
I thought it was really great. It was like a comic book and video game all plugged
Yeah.
into one, and the only reason I did see it was, and I probably saw an edited version. I know I saw edited because some of the words were cut out, but
Oh.
it was on Comedy Central just now, like
Ah.
right before we started, which isn't the reason that we were waiting to start, but it was on, and I was like, I gotta watch this, just because it's on. I was kind of channel flipping and caught it right at the beginning. I was like, hey, I've never seen this, and nobody's paying attention to TV, so I'm gonna sit down and relax to it.
Yeah,
Um,
get the DVD or rent or whatever, and watch it full, non TV style, because I'm sure they probably cut some stuff out as well.
yeah, I'm gonna
That
have to.
is, it's a great. I love that movie, and I was surprised. I never read the comic,
Me
the
either.
Fates after, but I don't even remember. I think I was on the road when I saw it, and I was just like, man, this is a great movie. I'm glad you brought that up. I need to actually rewatch that at some point.
Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna see how much it is and try to buy it within the next week or so. If not tonight, I depending on how much it actually is to buy, because I'm not gonna pay to rent it when I know I'll watch it again and again.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, so I was watching that. We did half an early Christmas this weekend because I'm here with my oldest daughter, and my other two little ones stayed at home, and we're up visiting. So we did early Christmas, and we were just talking about you've been showing some pictures of deer in your yard and everything in your yard, and I was asking you about some stuff, and you were talking about that's where you did some bow practice with your girls.
Yep.
My little girl just got a bow this Christmas, so she's like raring to go out and shoot some stuff.
Hmm. Well, you'll have to come over here because we have an archery range. Well, I mean, I don't know, it's covered in snow, but although I'll probably be gone after tomorrow. But
Yeah.
we have a archery range that's got these um, smaller to longer. There's four ranges, and they progressively get longer.
Mm.
And I know my girls would love it.
Yeah.
Came out here because they have their own bows. What kind of bow did she get?
Uh, One of those TV shows that everybody's been yelling about on every social network friggin' thing you can find lately. I'm guessing because those Dynasty guys are on the package. But it's like an 18
Oh.
pound bow.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Oh, so it's more of a real bow.
yeah, it's a real bow. Like I kind of want to unpackage it and go shoot with it, but
Yeah.
we have to go get some hay bales and stuff. We have the targets and the bow and some extra practice arrows and stuff, but we don't have the she's like, well, can't I shoot at a tree? I'm like, no. And then she's asking like, where's the really sharp tips on these? Aren't these supposed to be really sharp? I'm like, this is a practice bow.
Yeah, this is just for fun target stuff. We're not going to go out and kill anything.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make a boxing glove arrow, but it's not working out. But okay, so old time comic book guys would get that joke
Yeah,
because that's what Green Arrow and Hawkeye had was a literally a boxing glove arrow. At the tip of the arrow was a boxing glove, and they would shoot that.
that sounds something Joker should have. And
Well, I'm telling you, that was like one of Green Arrow's early days, prime
well,
thing until he became just pure. Let's just shoot people with sharp arrows type thing.
yeah,
So
well,
anyway,
I guess you got to progress as you get better.
yeah, yeah. Well, maybe just maybe put a firecracker on one of them. I'll have an exploding arrow or something.
Again, I'm gonna go Joker with that.
Well,
Um, I am happy to announce to everybody though that we finally worked out your contract and we have
Oh.
settled for a full Malamar bar and a half a bag of Skittles.
I don't like Skittles. Who agreed to this? I wasn't
Um,
involved in these negotiations.
Oh, when I said Skittles, the package is Skittles, but they're peanut M&Ms inside.
Oh, that's
I-
better. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, you
I
triggered
thought
me.
I thought that would work out. I did want to freak you out a little bit. We got holidays right around the corner. This is going to be our what are we calling this? Our mid-season finale.
Yeah,
Podcast?
yeah. There's gonna be a big cliffhanger at the end of this, so everybody
Yeah.
stay on till the end.
And yep, and all you gotta do is wait until the next one, and that'll be it.
Yep.
We have I said we did some presents. I'm actually sending out your present that I got you, and I'm because we already talked about it. I had to go and pick you up the Blu-ray copy since you have a PlayStation 3.
Are you about ready to tell me what it is?
Yes, I have to tell you what it is.
Oh.
I do only because if we come on next time, we won't talk about it because we'll be a few weeks out. So, and it's nothing big. I just got you a copy of The Crow since you never saw it.
Oh,
So-
thank you very much.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have that to enjoy and salivate over until the new one comes out and ruins it for you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. I also picked one up for myself. So this past week, we have yet another celebrity death in Peter O'Toole. People would know him from Lawrence of Arabia. I actually IMDb'd this, and there was a Supergirl in 1984 that he was in.
Yes, I remember. I worked at a video store in my younger days, and that was a big rental. I think I probably watched that several times. It was who was Supergirl? She was someone fairly popular in the day, but he was her father, right?
I believe so. Hold on, I will tell you why we're talking about it. He was also in King Ralph, which
My
was
favorite hero. Helen
John
Slater.
Green.
Helen Slater is the Supergirl.
Okay, I do not know who she is at all.
You know what? I'd have to look and see what else she was in.
You know, I was actually scraping through the Peter O'Toole stuff to find stuff that I actually recognized. So I don't know if that was just me because of age or if it was everybody. But Supergirl. He was Zaltar.
Yeah,
Or
I
you
think
said
that's her. I think that was her father, but I don't remember. It wasn't a very good movie.
Yeah, he was in it though. So whatever. King Ralph. He was in Ratatouille. He was Anton's ego voice.
Oh,
Ratatouille.
I did not know that. I love Ratatouille.
I did not know that either.
I love
So-
Ratatouille, but it's
Me too.
Pixar, so you're gonna love Pixar.
Me too. I did love it, and we actually we were just watching a movie the other day, and the Tale of Despero came on as a preview, and my kids want to see that too. And I actually semi-enjoyed that movie. I
It's an old one.
don't remember loving it, but I remember I didn't think it was horrible. So that had nothing to do with anything besides it was another rodent.
Okay.
We got I think our big conversation is going to be all this movie news that we got going on. So
All right.
I think on the smaller end of that we're going to jump in and cover Shield first, and then go into the big stuff.
All right.
So Shield, we have 2 episodes to catch up on, I believe. Season finale, and if it's the one that was before that, was that the one with the telekinesis girl?
Well, they didn't. Well, they never. There is somebody called the Clairvoyant, and they never really. Basically, all you had was some dude that talks to the Clairvoyant, and they make some mention that telekinesis is not in the quote unquote index of superpowers that Coulson or Shield has. So apparently they have this big index of all known superpowers or superheroes, and telekinesis is not one of them. And it was interesting that they talked about this because I read something since the Marvel Cinematic Universe cannot have mutants because the X-Men franchise is owned by Sony.
Yes.
They feel that telekinesis is more of a kind of a mutant-related power, I guess. Might not. This could all change by the time the rest of the season plays out. But someone speculated that's why telekinesis is not on there. But anyway, and to be perfectly honest, that was called Repairs. The girl, whoever it was, did not have telekinetic powers. It was actually, if you want me to spoil it, so spoiler alert, it was actually somebody that was invisible that was came in from another universe or something and was actually attacking anybody around her, and he was in love with her. To be honest, I don't really even remember the episode that well.
See, I think I'm thinking of the episode before that where there was the big explosion and the girl thought she had telekinesis and she was...
That's it.
Oh, that is it? And then the guy from Hell was trying to help her, but...
The guy from Alf?
No, Hell. He was like he was trapped between Hell and Earth.
That was the guy who was actually causing the things that looked like she had telekinesis.
Yeah.
So, but she didn't really have it. It was just whoever this dude was, in love with her or something. I don't. I don't even remember all of the episode, which says a lot, probably because it just did not impact me that much. It wasn't that memorable.
It was another one where I was trying to get into it more, and I was a little bit, but it not as. Again, I'm still waiting to be grasped, and I guess that's going to happen when I finally catch up on the season or the mid-season finale.
Yeah, they had some twists in that one. They brought back the dude from the first episode, who, quite honestly, I wish they got a better actor for this guy, because all right, so if you remember from the first episode, the dude had the extremis, and he had the super strength, but he was flaring up like he was going to explode, and then the Science Wonder Twins shot him with something, and they stopped him from exploding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently now, whatever that was has now allowed him to stabilize, so he still has the super strength and all that, but no threat of exploding, which is something that the Centipede people have been wanting to do with their agents who have the extremis powers. So the guy they have for playing the actor, I wish he was a little bit more tough. I think the guy they've got is kind of, I don't know, he just doesn't look good in his little shield outfit, and I don't know. I think appearance means something.
Is he an actual, like, from the universe superhero?
Or that's what I think it's just something they made up.
Okay.
They don't give him a name or anything like that.
All right.
But hey, it's someone with some superpower. He has strength, so that is good. They needed to have some superpowers in the Marvel universe, right? But what was interesting is that Centipedes kidnapped his son, and they were going to trade him. He was going to basically turn himself in. They wanted him to find out. They said to find out, like, study him to find out why whatever he got shot with stabilized his system, so that they could fix, the bad guys who have this. And And the big twist, if again, spoiler alert, the big twist was at the end they took Coulson and not him because they want to know what happened to Coulson after he got stabbed by Loki. They want to know how come Coulson survived. So the same questions Coulson has, they have. So that was kind of a twist. And then at the very end, there was a big explosion that this super guy was in the middle of, and is he dead or alive? I'm assuming he's alive because, and again, I read stuff after the episode, but in Iron Man 3, when Pepper Potts had this extremis, she survived an explosion. So they said that whatever this extremis does, it makes people immune or invincible to extreme heats and explosion.
That's amazing that I said I wanted to talk about Iron Man 3.
Yeah,
I even started as a joke, and that
I brought it in. So yeah, it was a pretty good episode. I mean, it really kind of had you at the end going, oh, so and they they had some scenes for the second half of the series, and they are going to explain by the end of the season why Coulson is alive and what all of it.
I did see that.
Yeah, which is good. They need to do that, and I hope when they hit, whenever the next episode is in January, they hit running and they just go full tilt right to the end. I hope they do it that way because.
Did this episode do that? Or did it
This episode was pretty good.
Did it run off the cliff and you were chasing after it, or was it just one of?
It's still not that. It's not like I remember, and I've used this analogy before, but I remember watching Lost or Heroes because I want to compare them to those shows because those shows are just or even going back farther, Alias. Yeah. They would just you would start watching that and you would just start wow and you just were caught up and by the end of the hour you're like no I want more and I want this show to be like that but it has not been that way. It's been very it's too TV procedural spy show.
It's really hard for me.
Yeah, and I think it's been hurting it. So I really. They were trying to please, I think, too many people. It's still, from what I've read, the ratings have gone up. Since they were strong at the start and they dipped down, but then they started making a little comeback, which is good.
I'll tell you what it didn't spoil it for me, but it's what I don't know. Maybe I'm a little. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little spoiled in the sense because I came out of my favorite show in the world. I came out of Breaking Bad, where every week I wanted the next episode. Like as soon as it was over, I was like, I want it now, and that's what I wanted from this. Because now every show I watch, I'm like, if I'm not waiting for the next episode, then I might not even watch it the next week.
Yeah, but you cannot sit there and expect every show to be like Breaking Bad.
Well, I don't expect it to be like it, but I expect the end to leave me wanting more at least.
Well, this one at least did that. The end of this episode, I was like, oh. I mean, it was just interesting. They actually did surprise me by the fact they wanted Coulson and not the super dude because that. That was a total twist at the end, and that was good. And they just need to continue. I just hope they amp it up. I really do, because if they don't, I have a feeling it will go to another season just because it's ABC and Disney owns ABC, and I think they'll probably give it another season. But it's they need to amp it. So
yeah, I would call it even if they go another season, if it doesn't do good, it's always a show that, with the movies and everything, they could at least do one of those I don't know, what do they call them, like
crossover.
They're not like mini-sodes, but they're like those real short, like 6-week series that they do like once in a while. Like they did it with the Stephen King's Under the Dome. That was like a
limited series.
Yeah, and they could always do that leading into a movie and make things, run in or whatever. But
Well, I think it'll have some sort of life because of the Netflix. I think because of the Netflix deal that they're going to have with Daredevil and Power Man and Iron Fist and Jessica Jones. You know
yeah,
that Netflix deal. That's 2015. So if they make it through the 2014 season, then and if it doesn't do well, it could probably fit right into that Netflix thing. I think they just pick it up and probably take it from there, and actually may even have a little bit more leeway to do something more because it's Netflix, and you don't have to worry so much about
yeah,
television style ratings, right?
yeah.
So which may help this. I just this has been I overall I would say I've been disappointed in this series from what I wanted it to be. So I sure would like.
High expectations going in, and
Yeah, and that's probably bad to have those high expectations. But but even then, even if I had low expectations,
but you know what?
I'm
You
not
expect
disappointed
it.
with that.
You expect it because of the movies. The
Yeah,
movies. I mean, when they started, like everybody had high expectations that it was at least going to be decent, and
right.
it surprised everybody. And then Avengers just blew everyone away, whether they were a fan of the movies before or not. Like that movie itself blew everybody away. So when you're associating something with that movie, then it needs to also blow you away.
Right.
And whether it be TV or not, I mean, and that's probably why it had the ratings dip. Maybe it's come back up because people are giving it a chance to grow a little bit. Like the companies like or the stations like AMC do that. Like they might not have the quickest start to a show, but they let it breathe for a little bit, and hopefully it catches up. And if not, then you probably won't see it again. But I've just had such high expectations going into this where I've been let down, and I don't want to be, and I hate saying that because I'm sure people do like it and people are really into it, but just for me personally, I don't feel it yet.
No.
Um, but yeah, so cliffhanger ending. Where did they leave us at the end? Was that when they took him away? Was that the
Yeah, they
cliffhanger?
took him away. The guy got blew up. The superpower guy got blew up in the middle because he basically was. He got his kid. He walked him back, and they were walking between two tankers. And the bad guy shot the tankers, which blew it up. While he was running back to go get Coulson after he dropped his kid off.
Mhm.
Agent Ward got shot, and there's like, oh, what's going to happen to him? Again, I read in there that maybe some people were kind of hoping maybe he gets killed, and they bring in somebody else because they think he's boring, which I agreed with at the beginning, but his character started to grow on me toward the toward the end of this. So I would be kind of disappointed if they actually killed him off. And it is a this isn't J.J. Abrams. This is who am I thinking? Who's the director? The dude that created this, the guy that did the Avengers, Josh Whedon.
Josh
They say
Whedon.
that he's done. He did Buffy,
Yeah.
and what were his other TV? But he's used to. He has no
Firefly.
problem killing somebody. A big character in the show, just if it fits in with the storyline. So, very possible Agent War is killed. I don't think that's going to be any big loss to anybody because this whole thing started off so slowly that I don't think people have this affiliation with any of these characters except for Agent Coulson. But you had that going into the show from the very start because everybody loved him in the movies. I mean, he was a fan
Yeah.
favorite in each of the movies. He's been in all of them. So,
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah. I love them too, and I don't know. It's even his. I don't know if his character, because his character doesn't really carry the series, but it does in a way. I don't know if maybe that's where they're going wrong. Like I don't know if he's a carry the series kind of guy
I don't know either.
as a character. But I mean, I hope it gets better. I'm gonna catch up if it when they come back. When are they coming back? Are they coming back at January
Yeah,
something or?
let me see here. I think the next episode's on IMDb. Hold on.
Um,
January 7th, so it's not really too far away.
Okay, so they're only taking a couple weeks.
And it's called The Magical Place, which is what Coulson has always called Tahiti. So the name of the next episode is The Magical Place. So they're going to get right into it. Good. They should.
Yeah. We have a ton of superhero news. The only thing is that we have one little piece of a little reboot that they're doing, which I was surprised to learn. This kind of just fell into my lap 2 days ago, maybe. They're rebooting the Naked Gun series of movies.
What? I hadn't heard this.
With Ed Helms as Leslie Nielsen's character. Yeah.
That's interesting only because I just finished on Netflix watching the end of The Office, the last season. I hadn't seen that, and they had it on there, and that's the only tie-in I have to this. But Ed Helms as the Leslie Nielsen character, I don't know about this.
Yeah, I'm really on the fence about it only because I like Ed Helms, but I don't know. Again, this is another thing that I don't know that you can reboot the Naked Gun because I mean that it was Leslie Nielsen. Like,
yeah, it wasn't so much the Naked Gun. It was Leslie Nielsen playing that character, and really, the Naked Gun, the character he plays, is the character he played in Airplane.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, but as a cop.
Yeah, and he, he does such a good job with it that I mean, for our generations and people who have actually watched it, like as they came out, maybe not like a younger generation, because maybe a younger generation will be into Ed Helms as Lieutenant Drevin, but I don't know. For me, it's going to be hard to separate or go back and go, oh, okay. Like even when Steve Carell did what was that called? With Agent 47. Yeah.
Get Smart.
I was okay with that only because I was like I used to watch TV shows somewhat, but then it was like a movie and it was just I was okay with that, but I mean. It wasn't as ingrained in my head as the Naked Gun movies are, I guess. So I'm having a little bit of a hard time with it, but I'm hoping it'll be good.
I never saw Steve Carell's Get Smart. I loved Get Smart, the original. But I'm a huge Mel Brooks fan, and that was that show was created by Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's off topic.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting to see how they do that. It may be good. I like if they're just going for that style of comedy, I'm in because I love it. I love that deadpan, don't call me Shirley lines.
Yep.
Those are great. Matter of fact, I was thinking about I wanted to go back and rewatch Airplane to see if that held up at all.
It does.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
I didn't. I watched it last year, and I mean, I was still.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I was still laughing at it.
I hadn't heard that. That's interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, that was the latest news that I heard. I don't know. Again, if this thing sees the light of day, all that, I'm sure it will, since he's attached to it. Usually, when a big enough name is attached to something, you're gonna see it only because they're in it. But other than that, we got a lot of stuff going on. We got Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Sandman, the Sandman comic series. He's going to be Sandman, not to be confused with Spider-Man Sandman.
Right. We were talking about the character.
Yeah, we were talking about this. I always was into the cover art of the comics, yet I never read the comics. So
you must. I'll tell you what. Did we talk about the fact that you gave me a Crow DVD? You did on the air. As a payback gift, I will get you the first trade paperback of the Sandman, and I'll send that to you, and you read that. And it's awesome, and you will want to read the rest of them. It's just, the best storytelling, and you really have to just kind of like get into it because there's a lot there, and it's
Now, is this a short series, or is this something that
no,
still goes
no,
on?
it's not
Or
on. I don't. It seems to me I remember reading that they were going to restart it, but I don't think it's happened yet. But it was no, it was it. There are probably I want to say 8 or 9, maybe even 12 trade paperbacks collecting the Sandman series. I think it went through, I don't know, 100 issues or so. And it was, it not only introduced the concept, Sandman of the King of Dreams or whatever his actual name was, but they also had the personifications of death and gluttony and other things like that. No, there were all the D's. There was dreams, death, destiny, um, and other ones that begin with D. They were called the Endless. It was the family of these personified concepts, and it's just you need to read it. It's fantastic. I actually like um, what's his name, Gordon Levitt.
yep.
I can see him being the Sandman. I actually think that that's actually good from a physical characteristic. I could see him doing that.
Okay.
Now,
Now,
if Neil Gaiman is not involved in this, it may be a failure. Neil Gaiman being the author of the Sandman.
the author. Okay. What I've been reading about it is, um, it, a little key points that I wrote down. Is it says that, Gaiman's Sandman series shifted between like horror and fantasy,
Right.
and the central character is Morpheus,
Yeah.
uh, the personification of dreams. He was held captive for like 70 years, and he escapes and gains revenge and rebuilds his crumbling kingdom.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's great stuff. It's just great stuff. I mean, you
and
have to read it.
it says the Vertigo comics also ran from 1989 to 96, producing 75 issues.
Oh, so did I.
So,
Okay.
Would routinely guest star several DC Vertigo's more magical characters.
Yeah, but
So,
not that much. As I remember, it was more. It was kind of a very self-contained, but they did have some. There's actually a Sandman omnibus, which is almost $100. It's a
wow.
big hardbound. I mean, like a you know
hmm
big book. It's oversized, and I think it collects the entire run. Which I think would be no. I'm sorry. There's a omnibus volume 2, so volume 1 must not hold the entire run. It holds. I'm looking for it to tell me what it holds. It doesn't say. But anyway, really great stuff. I mean, you need to. I like to say, I will send you the first trade paperback, and then you will be wanting to pick up the rest of it.
Cool. I'm really interested. Even the fact that they're making this. Like I said, I always used to see cover art from it, and I was
Yeah,
always
great.
interested in that. But this is also saying that he may even co-direct himself in the film, and I guess they're going to go from him being young to old within the film, which
Okay.
I guess would make sense if he's held captive. I guess they're probably going to play that a little bit. The other news to do with him out of this movie being announced, there's two things. He's also going to be an original character in the new Sin City movie. He will play Johnny, an original character. Another Sin City movie is going to be coming out.
Never
Um,
saw the first one.
I love the first one, and Elijah Wood, love him, hate him, whatever you want to do. He was a crazy, creepy psycho in that movie.
I need to
He,
see it.
yeah, you do.
Was Bruce Willis in that? Was he in that? Bruce
Yep.
Willis?
He
Okay.
yeah, he's in it. There's I
And
mean
Jessica Alba.
it's an all-star cast. Um, so we have a new Sin City movie coming out. Event I don't know when that's coming out. That's going to be Robert Rodriguez again. So he did really good with the first one, so I can't wait for this one. Also coming from this is we have the Ant-Man movie that we've been hearing so much about. So I guess he's off the table, and Paul Rudd is in as Ant-Man, from reports. So we were talking about this. We've talked about a couple times. I'm on the fence. I was talking to somebody else about it, and I said, when Paul Rudd plays a character, he usually plays the same character. Everything that he's in, he's that character. But it carries through whatever he's in. You're not bored with it, but it's refreshing. And I was like, I don't know if I see that character as being Ant-Man unless he changes things up, which would be a weird career move at this point.
Well, you know what? I bet you people probably said the same thing about Robert Downey Jr., who also pretty much plays himself. As Tony. When he was declared to be Tony Stark, I thought visually, okay, I can see that, but I didn't think from an acting style he fit Tony Stark. But he did it so well that they've changed really the comic book character to be more like him than the other way around. But so. The key thing about Ant-Man is which of the comic book. So there have been 3 guys in the comic book who have been Ant-Man. Which one is he playing? And they still haven't announced who that is.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about that yet.
Yeah, so Henry Pym is the original, the guy who was a founding member of the Avengers. Who, to me, that's who they should have. But since it's Paul Rudd, so there was 3. There was Henry Pym, or Hank Pym, and then there was a guy in the middle, which I thought I was going to have his name at the tip of my fingers, but now I can't remember. He played it for a little while, or was Ant-Man for a little while. He got killed, but then brought back to life. And then there was a third guy that was kind of a joke, kind of more of a comical version of Ant-Man, who that might fit more Paul Rudd if they're going. And I don't know anything about the third character. I read certainly the original, and I read the second guy, but I've not. I think I've seen a couple things with the new guy, but I don't really know much about him. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that. I like Paul Rudd, so I'm excited about it because I think that will be a draw just because it's Paul Rudd.
Yep.
But who he's playing and how they do it, I think it will be interesting. I actually think this will end up being really, really, probably really good.
I think that everybody was worried of Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yeah.
I think I kind of feel the same way. Like, my major concern was, well, he's really funny, and we're gonna go into this movie, and are they gonna pull a complete 180 on us and make a funny superhero movie?
Nah,
and
I don't think they will.
And I didn't think so either, and then that's what worried me. And I'm like, well, I'm sure he's not taking it thinking, yeah, I want to mess this up. But then, so I was having this conversation with somebody, and they were like, so what do you think? He's not going to be able to play smart? And I said, no, I think he can play smart. I just hope that the comedy doesn't and he doesn't really consider himself a comedic actor in any sense. Like he said, everybody I always work with is way funnier than I am, and they just make me look funny. But I think he's funny, and that's the only thing that worried me. But I don't. Again, it's Edgar Wright. I don't think he's gonna go in and mess the movie up. I mean,
I think what worries me more, I don't mind if they bring I won't say I don't want it to be a comedy film, but bring a comedic angle, because they did that with Iron Man, and it worked great. They've done it with all their movies. I mean, if you think about it, the bits of Thor are funny.
Yeah.
And the Avengers, I think one of the funniest line was when someone was maybe it was someone was talking bad about Loki, and Thor says, "Well, that's my brother."
Yeah.
And he says, "Yeah, who killed blah blah blah?" And he's like, "Well, he's a half brother." I think that was one of the funniest lines in the movie, and that type of stuff is what makes these movies, I think, good because they're not super duper serious.
Yeah.
So I think having Paul Rudd do this will be fine because I really do compare it a lot to Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. The thing I have probably the biggest thing is I don't see Paul Rudd as an action hero, which this is a superhero movie.
Again,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm like, okay, that's what I. If you hear anything in the background, my cat is going crazy in boxes right now.
Cats love boxes.
Yes.
My cat loves bags, boxes, anything.
Yeah. So anyway, if you hear any in the background, that's what he's doing. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited just for the concept of the Ant-Man here, Ant-Man movie. I understand they're really going to play up his size changing as being a I didn't see that this. They did a sneak peek at one of the Comic Cons, and I didn't see the trailer because they didn't have it out on the web. I don't think.
Yeah, it was some test footage of what he could, what they wanted to do as far as size, like the size changing.
He starts out small and he turns full size. There's a karate kick, then shrinks back down again. I'm like, that's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that, and obviously controlling ants and all that. The thing I have a question. Okay, so is the Wasp going to be a supporting character in this movie too? I hope so.
I would imagine only because all these movies seem to want to bring in as many other characters as they possibly can at this point.
Yeah.
So I off the top of my head, I'm gonna say it's not just gonna be Ant-Man.
No, I think I'll have.
Yeah, we are gonna have some supporting stuff coming in.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I think that's gonna be great.
Yeah, the other point that came across in the conversation I was having was I mean, for you, you were a bigger fan than I was, but I mean, even for me, for how much I was in, like, I didn't think superhero movies were ever going to get as good as they've gotten. And 10 years ago, watching, I'm guessing that was kind of like the Tim Burton Batman,
X-Men
kind of time. Yeah. And I never thought that, let alone seeing an Ant-Man movie, I never thought I was going to see a Thor movie.
Right.
Like, I never thought they wouldn't be able to make Thor work as a character in a movie that people would want to watch because, first of all, I guess it's most of the comics from whatever I've seen, he has the helmet and everything, and I was like, yeah, you can't put a helmet on him, and they didn't, and it worked. Now they're going to have Ant-Man, and that's even more obscure to me of a character to try to make a movie of, because it would be a lot harder. But with how far technology has moved in movies, I think it's going to be a lot easier.
Yeah,
and I think it's a lot easier to make a good movie with all the technology.
Yeah, they've done. I mean, there have been plenty of movies of people who are small. The Incredible Shrinking Man and Land of the Giants. Yeah, all that. So they've done this plenty of times, but it's always been, okay, now I'm small and I'm in the big place. Here's a giant matchbook or whatever. But I think if they're going to accentuate the size changing a lot, that should be, I'm thinking, like, compared to all what they did in the Avengers and all these other movies, this will be a breeze from a CGI and a special effects standpoint. I don't think this will be that hard, which means I think they'll just make it that much cooler. Mm-hmm. I'm actually going to have higher hopes for this movie than probably any of them, which will probably set me up for a letdown, but I'll take my chance. So far, the Marvel Universe has not let me down, but they are, you can say the Ant-Man is obscure. Guardians of the Galaxy is way more obscure. I mean, nobody knows anything about the Guardians of the Galaxy and, a talking raccoon.
Oh yeah, and that's coming too. So
that'll be first. I think that'll be the next one. That won't be the next. The next one that comes out is Captain America: Winter Soldier, which looks fantastic. I cannot wait for that. And then I think Well, then I think we have to wait for the Avengers, and then is it Guardians of the Galaxy, or does the Guardians come out before the Avengers? I
I
think
am not
Guardians
sure.
comes out before the Avengers. At any rate, I at first I was a little leery about the Paul Rudd announcement, but now the more I talk about it, the more I think I'm on board. Oh
Yeah,
no,
I,
Guardians of the Galaxy comes out next year. Sorry.
yeah, I was scared about it, and then when it was looking like him or Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I completely thought that Joseph Gordon-Levitt would take it
Yep.
over Paul Rudd. I thought it was a no contest. Then him moving to Sandman, it only took a couple of days before they announced Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. Like, after that happened, and that was official. So I was like, okay, well, like I said, I worry about it, if he's going to do a complete 180 and change his style of acting, and if it's going to work, or if he's going to keep the same style, and if it'll work. But either way, I mean, I think they're going to make a good movie. It's
Yeah, I
just,
think
I
it's gonna
hope
work.
it works.
I think it's gonna
Um,
work. I think they'll make him again. A lot of this depends on which Ant-Man he's playing, and it won't be this. It won't be the second one.
what do you think?
Whoever.
Do you think he's going to play the first one because they
I
already
hope
started
so.
the Avengers?
Well, yeah, I think so. I mean, I hope I hope they do. Just for my sake, Ant-Man was like one of the first '60s um, comic book characters. I mean, he was out before the Avengers came out, before Iron Man came out, before Thor came out. I mean, Captain America is the oldest Marvel, and then Submariner or Submariner, I don't know which one we go with, and then the Human Torch. But as far as when the late '50s, early '60s, Ant-Man had his own run in Tales to Astonish, and he is a linchpin character in the Marvel universe. He's not as popular as these other guys, but he's been around just as long, if not longer, than the Hulk, Iron Man, Thor have been around.
Now, I should
So,
I should have looked this up. Did you even see who's making this? Is it coming out of the Marvel camp? Do you know?
oh yeah, 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 yeah. This is part
Okay.
of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay. I didn't want to get lost in some other companies where maybe we can't see him pop up later on. Like we have Spider-Man doing that. So
Right, now this is part of the. Oh, now this is weird because I just looked this up in the IMDb and it says biochemist Dr. Hank Pym. So they're actually saying it's Hank Pym, but I don't. Everything I had read before, they had not decided on who it was going to be.
I'm gonna put my trust in IMDb until they change it.
But they have Paul Rudd as a star, so
Yeah.
I would be so excited if it's Hank Pym. I would love that, and he could do it because I could see him playing a smart guy, but
Hey
just
Kevin,
huh?
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you.
What?
That you're getting your wish of him
Oh.
being who
Playing
you
Hank Pym.
are.
Well, if it's IMDb, I mean I don't maybe I don't know where they got that from because like everything I read up to now they had not decided on who he was going to be. So that'd be great. That'd be awesome. But you know what? Happy to have it one way or the other. All right.
The other little bit of news we got is Sony Pictures has announced that they are going to do the Sinister Six spin-offs coming out of the new Spider-Man movie. So each of these guys will get their own movie, and apparently they're going to work in reverse of how Marvel is. So this is going to be the villains movie, which the Sinister Six are, but it's going to be from their perspective instead of from the hero's perspective. Um, I'm I'm on board. I think it's a fresh new idea, a different take. If you don't own, if you want to expand the universe because you own Spider-Man until you decide to stop making them, and and that's not going to happen because you're going to reboot them whenever you have to at
Mhm.
whatever point that you let that go stale. But this is a new way for them to work into a universe that they're creating, which Marvel's done it to perfection. DC is jumping on their coattails, and now Sony's jumping on the coattails also, trying to get their franchises that they have going. Um, so
Yeah, I'm not as hyped about this as I am about Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, um, because I like the idea of the villain perspective. That will definitely be something different. But I gotta hear a little bit more about. First of all, who is the Sinister Six? I mean, originally it was Electro, which obviously they're introducing him with the next Spider-Man movie, so that's good. Vulture, Doctor Octopus, Sandman, which that was the only good thing of Spider-Man 3 was Sandman. I thought the way they did him was awesome, but that was about it. Craven the Hunter.
I don't know if you brought it to my attention or not. Apparently, and I didn't catch it, in the trailer, so I'm going to have to watch it as soon as we're done tonight.
I brought it to your attention.
Do so. Apparently, at one point, if it's Norman Osborn or whoever it is, they're walking through somewhere, and there is the wings of Vulture. There's some kind of little like protoplasm thing that would be Venom. And the article that I read had Venom right up on the front of it, saying that Venom is definitely going to be done. So we're looking at. I think we'd be looking at Vulture, Electro, Shocker, Rhino, Sandman, and who did I not say?
Well, Doctor Octopus, and that was the other thing we saw. I was the one who told you about that. In the trailer, you know, I think I read an article that went like frame by frame through the trailer, and and there was it had the Vulture's wings, and Doctor Octopus's arms, and then the vial for the Venom. I don't think the Shocker was actually part of the Sinister Six unless he appeared later on down the line. But I was trying to think of who the sixth one was. Anyway,
I know in the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon he is, but okay. I don't know. I don't know as far as actual knowledge of the Sinister Six.
In the original, it was okay. I know who it is now. It was Electro, Sandman, Doctor Octopus, Vulture, Craven the Hunter, and Mysterio. Those were the Sinister Six.
Mysterio would be cool.
Mysterio would be cool, and like I would love it if any one of those guys had a movie before Venom did. Venom is a character I don't like. I wish they had never introduced him into the Spider-Man mythology. He became very popular, and I understand that. So bring it on, I guess.
So you didn't like him in the comics, or you didn't like him in the movies?
I didn't like him in the comics.
Okay.
I hated it when they brought. Matter of fact, I would probably say that's when I started losing interest in Spider-Man, was when they brought Venom in. I liked it. You know, Venom originally was just Spider-Man's costume.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
When he came back from the Secret Wars, he had the all-black costume, and it was basically his costume. He was able to change into clothes, and it was kind of a neat concept. And then, of course, it became a living thing that was actually possessing him. And then I hated that storyline, and I've never really been. I hate his big old tongue and his teeth hanging out. He's never been a character I've cared about. Now they've done some different things. I haven't read anything recent, but from what I've seen, as I'm starting to kind of get more caught up in the current Marvel world, they've done some different things with the Venom. I think there's a couple of different Venoms now that have, I believe in the Secret Avengers, or maybe Thunderbolts in the comics. They have Flash Thompson. Flash Gordon. Flash Thompson, who was Peter Parker's high school bully.
Yeah.
He actually has a Venom costume, but he only wears it, for a limited amount of time, so that the symbiote or whatever doesn't take him over. but I haven't
I'd
read
have
all
to
that.
I'd have to look into that because I remember. I mean, everything I know of Venom is Eddie Brock,
Hmm.
who is his like what childhood friend, I guess.
Well,
Um,
Eddie Brock was someone he worked, well, at least in the comics, was someone he worked with at the Daily Bugle,
okay,
and he would basically Peter Parker would always get the better
beat him out.
pictures of Spider-Man,
Yeah.
obviously. And then like the reason why he hated Spider-Man or Peter Parker was because of that, and ruined his career or something. It was I hated it. I'm not I it'll be interesting to see how they do it. I mean, they did Venom in Spider-Man 3 anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that works
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of Spider-Man looking characters. I mean, there's now I can't remember all of them. I know there's Venom, there's Carnage, there's
That's even worse.
yeah, there's I believe there's another one also. I can't think of
Well,
what
you have
his
Black
name.
Cat. That would be. I actually read an article about. So on Facebook, since I'm a big Facebook guy, I actually liked Newsarama. Do you ever?
Hmm. No,
So
I ha
if you like Newsarama, they put in your news feed a lot of articles throughout the week, usually one a day, of something related to comics, and I've actually liked that because it's helped me get kind of a little bit more current. And they had an article about who would be in the Spider-Man quote unquote universe potential movie characters.
Mhm.
And really, you think about it from the hero side. Okay, like I'll ask you, who else besides Spider-Man from a hero side would you think would be movie worthy?
that they see. I don't know who they could bring in though. See, most of my, like I said, again, I'm such a big cartoon guy that most of this is going to come from cartoons and
All
stuff
right.
instead of the actual comics. So, um, like I I like Doctor Octopus, but they did that. The whole Tombstone character, I don't know
Yeah.
if he was strictly cartoon or not, but
No, he wasn't. He was in
he
the
like
comics.
that whole organization type thing would be kind of neat. Only because Spider-Man is young. But if are you talking about like people to partner up with him,
Yeah, I was
or
talking about heroes besides Spider-Man
okay?
himself.
Um, I
Well, they have
really wouldn't
okay.
know.
So Black Cat is one who is kind of she's very Catwoman-like,
Yeah,
but she would be someone. I'm actually trying to
she's
find
kind
the
of
art.
like she's kind of like between the lines though, right? Like
Right.
she's good. Yeah, she's not horribly evil, but she does bad and good kind of
Yeah, she's a
in a
cat
way.
burglar. I mean, originally
Yeah.
she was a cat burglar, and but she would go back and forth on being villain versus
I
hero.
think what I would really like to see would be a Hobgoblin Green
Hobgoblin. Yeah.
Goblin, but like a face off, like the goblins facing off,
It'll
and some.
it'll be interesting to see how they end up doing this because I'm not sure there's a lot there that people are going to want to go see. But I say that, and they're putting out an Ant-Man movie, so who knows? They may
You
do
love
it
you some Ant Man.
well. Yeah, I do, man. I think that would be really good again. But um, I was trying to find the article because they went through like 10 characters that could be part of the Spider-Man movie, whatever. And
Now this is where I'm confused because I'm not really sure what Sony can bring in and what they can't. I don't know if they bought the whole rights to the whole Spider-Man universe, or if they have the rights to Spider-Man and some core characters.
I,
Um,
I
that's where I'm a little bit foggy. So I mean, if they want to bring in other supers, I don't know who they could bring in unless they go really obscure or something.
well, it's almost going to have to be obscure because I don't think there's anybody else in the Spider-Man universe that people are really going to be able to recognize right off the bat. You know, unless you're talking about like I think there was a Spider Girl, which
Mm,
was set in the future. It was Peter Parker's daughter, but I don't know how they necessarily bring that about. Um, there was a future Spider-Man called Spider-Man 2099 that they
yeah.
talked about that had a pretty good run, but again, I don't know how you bring that out. So yeah, I don't know who other than villains. I don't know who else you bring.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm Spider-Man is one of my most confusing characters ever, and that probably sounds really weird, but I don't know. For the longest time, I didn't understand the superpower part because sometimes he has cartridges, and sometimes he just kind of shoots webs whenever he wants.
well, but
Uh,
you see that they did in the comics originally. He had the cartridge. He built his web shooters, and
yeah.
then in the Tobey Maguire movies they made them organic, and then the comics because they did it in the movies, they gave him organic for a while.
So was his superpower being able to crawl up things like a spider?
He had the purport. Yeah, yeah. He could walk up walls and stick things, and he had the purported strength of a spider if he was human size. So, and I don't know what that means, other than only thing I can relate to that is like, okay, an ant is supposed to be able to carry 10 times his weight or 100 times his weight or something like that.
Yeah.
And if
So
an ant was human size, he would be very, very strong.
yeah.
So they did the same thing with a spider, and then he's got the spider sense,
Yeah.
which again I'm not really sure what that has to do with a spider, other than the fact that I guess a spider has what 100 eyes. He could see in all directions, so I guess maybe that's where they got the spider sense from. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. The web is the thing that always kind of made sense to me, and
Yeah,
that he could cling to things. But
yeah,
then the web wasn't really part of the superpower; it was
right.
made. So that was always. I mean, this is. I'm not saying I was confused up until now. It is when I was younger, I was always like, I like Spider-Man, but then I was like, he has cartridges. Well, that's not a superpower. Well, what the hell's a superpower? Because I'm a kid, and
Right.
and that was a superpower to me. I mean, he could shoot webs. He was Spider-Man. That's what.
But that was one of the great things about the comic book character about Peter Parker, because he was basically a nerd in high school, but he was very very smart, and so smart that he was able to build his own web shooters, and they just totally threw that aspect out in the Tobey Maguire movies. Yeah, he was still a science nerd, but he wasn't. There was no evidence of him being really smart. And
Yeah,
then I like the fact that they brought that into the reboot with what's his face. And I like the fact that they've got the actual mechanical web shooters as opposed to the organic ones. If for no other reason, you have all of a sudden now a villain could smash the web shooters so he can't use them, or he runs out of web fluid or whatever, just like he did in the comics at key points. When they're organic and they're just always there, you know, it's just that's not fun. I mean,
yeah, yeah. And this new movie. I mean, the new movie. I don't know. I'm waiting for it. I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for it.
the trailer looked really good.
If for not for anything else, because I'm really excited about Rhino. And I'm worried because he's like a big robot, and if he can't run, then what's the point? Um, that's what I'm used to Rhino being like, almost like Juggernaut was to me.
But he's
Like he
slow.
could, yeah. But if he's slow and mechanical, I don't know how that's gonna work. That's the only part that worries me. But I mean, it's we're gonna see how it turns out when it comes out, and I mean, it's Paul Giamatti, so I mean,
Yeah, it'll be good.
it'll be good either. It'll be good either way. It's just I hope it's done right, and I hope leading out of this and going into a Sinister Six movie, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. Who they pick is going to be interesting to see too. Like if you're saying Mysterio, I would love to see Mysterio. I would really even like to see Craven,
Yeah, I
only
like to see all those.
because he would be. I mean, if you put Craven and Mysterio even in a movie together, that would be kind of cool. It would be weird to me because Mysterio is like a magician, illusionist, or whatever.
Yeah, he was
That
a movie special effects
special
guy.
effects, yeah, and the way he manipulates everything, and Spider-Man can't tell if it's real or fake
Right.
sometimes. Is really cool. The fish bowl on his head doesn't even bother me. I would actually be
that
like,
would look so cool on the movie,
You know,
on the big
yeah,
screen.
yeah, that would be awesome. And then
Yeah.
if you throw in like Craven, Craven is the opposite of all the special effects and everything. He's like a main hunter, so him being able to run through and kind of sniff them out. And there was oh man, there was even a cool point in like I said, I've been watching Spectacular Spider-Man animated series a lot because my youngest daughter is like crazy Superman and then really getting into Spider-Man too. So she wants to watch it all the time. They had a really cool episode where they brought in the Sinister Six, or not. It was a bunch of people, but they had Mysterio, they had Craven together in an episode. Vulture was in there. Like it was another adaptation, I guess, of the Sinister Six because they did it with Shocker and Electro and Rhino and Sandman, and Doc Ock and Vulture at one point. But this was like a different version. I guess they traded some people out and they put Mysterio and Craven in, and they even had Venom in at one point. And now you would be okay, I think, with Venom if they did him right and they did this, because Peter Parker wore Venom as his costume. At one point, he came down and he was able to attack him because Spider-Man's Spider Sense didn't see Venom as a threat anymore because they were so connected at one point or something like that. And I think something like that would be neat. But again, I'm not all about. I hate Bane when they make Bane this big lucha libre looking wrestler, and I hate when they do that with Venom. If you scale Venom down some and don't make him ridiculously huge and stuff, I think that would be neat. But I mean, I don't know. I think Mysterio would be really cool. I would.
Yeah,
I would
it's
pay
funny.
double to go see Mysterio in 3D.
Yeah, and they need to do his costume the way it is in the comics. Now, it doesn't have to be a green bodysuit, kind of like what they have, but they have to have the fishbowl head, and they have to have the two eyes that are the clasps of his cape. Now, on the flip side, they cannot do Kraven the Hunter's costume as it is in the Spider because he looks gay.
I think he has to be CG. I honestly...
no. I think they just need to do a more of a. I don't know. I don't think Kraven has to be CG. I think he just needs to be a more of a. They can do anything with that. Just keep the character, the beard, the black hair.
Beast from X-Men-ish.
No, he's Kraven the Hunter he's just a hunter. I mean, he doesn't really have any powers.
Doesn't he mutate?
Nope. Well, maybe he does now. I don't know. But originally he was just he
was a really good hunter, and then maybe I'm thinking of the cartoon because the cartoon centers around Mr. Big, who is Tombstone, and they're creating villains to distract Spider-Man. So they take they were like partners or whatever. The two guys that ended up being Sandman and Rhino. I can't remember their names right now. They take those two characters and they make them who they are. They make Kraven is a hunter, and he gets hired to hunt and assassinate Spider-Man, and then he gets some of the same vial that the Lizard got, or something like that, and he actually forms with like a lion or something like that, and becomes the hunter. So that's what I'm thinking of.
That's a cartoon thing, then. Unless it happened in later issues of the comic, but I think that may be a cartoon thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm pulling from and thinking of right now. Just because, like I said, I've been watching it so much, it's like ingrained in my brain right now. But yeah, that would be it. Yeah, I don't know. I almost think they would have to do something with him to be more than just a hunter. But I mean, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what'll work because the movies they just go back and forth anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what they'll end up doing either, but it'll be interesting. I'll have to wait and see that one, and see how that works out because I don't think that will be as successful. I mean, they're planning on in the X-Men universe bringing the Fantastic Four. That we talked about that before.
Yes, well, we talked about they're doing a reboot of the Fantastic Four.
And that's owned by Universal. Is that who does X-Men? It's the same people who own X-Men. And they're talking about crossing those into their own universe type thing, which is weird to me because I don't really consider the Fantastic Four part of the X-Men universe.
I'll tell you what's weird for me. I'm going to see Captain America not as Johnny Blaze because it's the same actor.
No, not Johnny, but Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm, sorry.
Johnny Blaze is Ghost Rider. I was like, what are you talking about?
Okay, well, I'm not going to see Nicolas Cage as the...
But nobody remembers Chris Evans being the Human Torch. And
I do.
I watched the first Fantastic Four movie. I actually, I liked the Fantastic Four. I did not like Doctor Doom in the first one. I didn't see the second one with the Silver Surfer. I think I caught parts of it, but I think I fell asleep in it, which doesn't say a whole lot.
That was really disappointing, wasn't it? I forgot how uncool Doctor Doom was.
He was terrible. Oh,
and I forgot about that.
Yeah,
and he was like, when I was a little kid, I used to have his lair, his like Doom lair as a toy. I used to have that. Him and Apocalypse and oh god, I don't know if it was Doomsday or not. I'm trying to place a face to the character. It might have been Doomsday. Like they were like my three villains that I really liked when I was a kid.
Well, Doctor Doom is definitely the classic, and the way they portrayed him in that movie was terrible. They need to go classic Doctor Doom, but that's another one where they're gonna do that with the X-Men. That'll be interesting to see how they do that. But if they do,
now, they're rebooting all four characters, or are they just bringing in Mr. Fantastic?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know exactly. That's what I just read something that they're going to do that. So they're going to do a reboot of Fantastic Four, so it will be all four, and then they will somehow tie them in with the X-Men.
I hate the Thing.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Well, as far as movies go, if they do it as horrible as they did, okay.
Let me CGI him like they did the Hulk.
Yes, because let me tell you, I don't really like the actor who played him that much as it is, but the fact that when you look at, I forget, maybe it's number 2, it might be the one with the Silver Surfer, which I think was number 2, where they're on a bridge or something, and you can see the rubber suit with the pads of rock on it. Like, it was so poorly done. Like, you could have seriously made that as an 80s movie, and I would have liked it. I would have gave it a little bit more props, but because it was made when it was, I was just like, you got to be kidding me at this point.
And they did the same thing, and I was disappointed in the X-Men First Class with the Beast. Is a guy in a blue monkey suit, basically, fur suit, and they should have CGI'd him as well. Just like they did the Hulk. That was beautiful. The Hulk in the Avengers was just, he stole it every time he was on there.
No.
They did that with the Thing. They wish they would do that with the Beast, but they're not in the next movie either. So.
Did you like the Beast when Kelsey Grammer was the Beast?
No, well, he was all right. The Beast has always been one of my favorite comic book characters, but it's the Beast that was in the Avengers back in the 70s and 80s. He was awesome. Then he went back to the X-Men, and he just became more ape-like. I don't know. He turned more actually lion-like, kind of a la Beauty and the Beast, and
Yeah.
then now he's becoming more ape-like, I think. But at any rate, I don't like. I'm not a big fan of making him a costume. Make him CGI, and he would be so much better. And that's how they should do the Thing as well. He should be a CGI. Do it just like they did the Hulk. Get an actor to play him, and put the ping pong balls on him or whatever they do to do that, so they capture the facial expressions. Because Mark Ruffalo in the Avengers, he acted
Yeah.
out all of the Hulk's uh, scenes. He actually physically did the acting for it, and then they just did the CGI around what he did, which I thought was cool.
Yeah,
And
which is the same thing they did in it's the same guy. Why am I not going to be able to think of his name? I'm going to punch myself in the face. The guy who played Gollum in Lord of the Rings, Andy Serkis,
Yes.
who also plays the ape in the Planet of the Apes, and there's a new Planet of the Apes movie coming in. But he plays the ape in the newer one that was with James Franco. He actually plays the ape, and then they CGI around him. So even if
Right.
they did something like that
Yep.
with an actor like that, that would be awesome. I'd be in.
That would be good. I wish they would do that. So we'll see. I think that's way. I don't even know if they've even casted the Fantastic Four. I don't think they've done anything with that, but they've just talked about it.
Yeah.
So I wish that would come back to the Marvel universe, because the Fantastic Four to me again fits better in with the Avengers than it does anything else. Although they have a release date for the Fantastic Four being 2015, so that'll be interesting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, that a lot of stuff is going to be 2015. I was reading quite a few movies. I think some of the stuff we were talking about was going to be 2015. I think Naked Gun was going to be 2015, if I'm thinking correctly. Sandman, I think, is going to be 2015. And Ant-Man that'll probably be off for 2 or 3 years, I would think, with everything that they have to do. I would say at least 2 years. But we'll be waiting for that. But
Well, this is interesting. On the IMDb page for Fantastic Four for 2015, the only person they have cast and they have it rumored is Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm. It's not Michael Jordan, the basketball player, but he is black.
He's on fire whenever he gets to.
Yeah, but the guy that they have, he was in The Wire, but he's black, and nothing against that or anything, but Johnny Storm, obviously in the comics, is white, and he's the brother to Susan Storm, the Invisible Woman, who is married to Reed Richards, so they're going to have to make her black as well.
He could be adopted or something.
I guess.
Well, no, 'cause I don't know. They might have to come from the same line or something if they have a super.
Why do they have to do that? I don't.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to say the least. Like I said, as far as what color the actor is, but they're going to be changing 2 out of the 4 color, or 2 out of the 4 characters pretty much right off the bat if they actually make it make any sense.
Is that all in the name of what? Equal opportunity? I'm not really sure. I don't get it. The characters are not black. I mean, I don't mind it. Like if they did Electro. Electro's white in the comics, and they're making him black.
Well, that's like when they did the God Forsaken by All Green Lantern movie, and everybody, all kids at least, they don't know White Green Lantern because most of what kids see cartoon-wise is they have the Black Green Lantern. Yes, and so a lot of people had no, like when that movie was coming out, like I heard a lot of people say that their kids are like, why did they make the Green Lantern white? So, I guess whatever's gonna work.
Well, I think in the Justice League cartoon series, the Green Lantern in there was John Stewart in black, so they may be referencing that. They may be used to seeing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I've always been used to Hal Jordan, but I don't know. we got some tech stuff going on.
Oh, sorry.
You played. Oh, did you have anything else with the movie? I'm sorry.
Nope, no, but I probably have
Okay.
exhausted that topic.
Okay. We you were playing with the Surface. You said a little bit.
Yeah, so I was getting them set up for my daughters. So one thing I wasn't sure about because it's mainly a tablet, and the reason why we got this was because they wanted either a laptop. I couldn't pin them down on whether they for sure they wanted a laptop or they wanted a tablet, but they seemed to like the idea of typing. So the Surface has the keyboard cover, which works nicely because it just magnetizes to it, and it works really well. I used the keyboard and it was actually surprisingly satisfying as a keyboard. It's not a true. It's more of a touchpad type keyboard than it is a, keys, individual keys type thing.
Hmm.
Um, but what I wasn't sure about, and I think I even mentioned this, I wasn't sure that I could use a mouse because I bought them, USB
Yeah.
mouses
Yeah, and you're
for
saying
them.
it had the USB port, but you weren't sure.
Yeah, but it does work. You can plug that in, and it does provide the cursor. So it
That's good.
is a true. You can use it as truly as a laptop as much as you want. And you can use it as a tablet too. So it is a true laptop slash tablet, and it's really nice. So I downloaded. They had some stuff in the Surface App Store, obviously nowhere near as much as they have in the iPad, but
Hmm.
enough that the girls, drawing. I downloaded some games that they had, and then they had a lot of drawing tools, which I thought they would like, as far as coloring and stuff like that. So I got those all set up, and then Microsoft, since it's a Microsoft product, obviously, they have a pretty good parental controls on there where um, you basically use a Microsoft Live account to set their user IDs up on the Surface itself,
Okay.
and then you can then have those go up under my account as the parent, so I can go in and control their laptop on what times of day they can actually use it,
Okay.
what they have access to. I could cut it off, at a certain time, um, which is also nice, so that like they're not playing on it at 11 o'clock on a school night or something like that. So
Yeah.
that was pretty neat. I was having trouble with it because I got one of my daughters set up on there, and I got the other one set up, and it's set up on the laptop, but I can't see it through the website where you can actually control it. So I'll have to work on that more. But I ended up just wrapping everything today, and so it's there for them to open up on Christmas morning. But
That should be pretty neat. I mean, that the fact that you can use a mouse with it and you can kind of set everything with it almost sounds like the newer Kindle, I believe. You can do that with. You can set certain times and allow
yeah,
it'll cut off. So and it'll. I think the Kindle gives like a little message like okay, playtime or something like that.
right.
Go play for like 2 hours, then you can come back and have so much time or whatever. So that. I like that feature. Just because. I mean, we all, being a tech community, I mean, people just don't get outside enough anymore, I don't think.
Right.
And for kids especially, like, I understand because I was one of those kids that grew up when technology started to boom, and you were probably semi-established when everything started happening, and kind of adopted it instead of falling behind because we
Right.
have probably about a 10-year-ish difference somewhere in there. So I mean, for people who adopt things and keep going, like it's nice, but there does have to be that break, especially with kids. Like kids can't just be glued to a TV or to their video game or to their tablet or their phone or all that. Like I've even seen holidays that people have, and they actually have a basket where people have to put their cell phones in when they come in the door, so
Hmm.
they can actually spend some time.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
But
there was
that,
a. Speaking of that, there I saw something that they like. If you go out to dinner with some friends, they say everybody puts their cell phones stacked up at the middle of the table,
yep,
and the first one that goes to reach for a text or whatever or answer it has to pick up the check.
yes.
That's
That's a
awesome.
good idea. Yeah, that is awesome. There's not enough human interaction. I mean, even though we're
Right.
doing a podcast, we're still having a conversation. We're having interaction just because we're in two different areas of, well, we're in two different areas of a state, but just because we're in two different areas doesn't mean that, it's not like we're not having an actual interaction. We're sitting around, it's late, we're doing our thing, but when kids are glued to it, I don't like that idea. I don't
Mm.
I don't like the idea of kids just glued to everything all the time. So that's a nice feature to have on that, which I didn't know that even had. Um, our little tablet here that we have, the Nabi, just actually got a new update where you have to before you had to go into Nabi store, which was to say the least piss poor. And you had to use their store or use a third-party store or root your device so you could get Google Play on it because it's an Android device.
Hmm.
Now, this week, rolling out is Google Play for the Nabi, so I can even hook my account to it probably and get apps that I have on there on that thing for the kids. So I was kind of really surprised and enjoying the fact that we're actually going to get to use this thing to the level that I wanted to use it when we bought it. Because it's good for, like I said, I have three, so we got anywhere from kids learning numbers to writing letters to being in school. So already and learning.
I don't think I even knew about this. I never heard of it until you started mentioning it. So I looked it up. I was like, well, we could have probably done this as opposed to the. Because this looks like this has got. Is it pretty much? Do you have the Nabi 2 or XD?
Yeah, I have the two, I believe. It's the bigger, more expensive one. It comes with a big red bumper pad on it.
Yeah.
You can drop it, like it has a parental mode. So you actually, as the parent, have to go on and add certain certain apps and stuff, instead of the kids just running whatever apps they want all the time. You have to go in and okay that they can use apps. You have complete control over what they do. The reason I got it is it was actually advertised a lot on Nickelodeon for a while, and I got it as pretty much a learning tool for them. But I mean, you're my oldest and your two girls are within the same age range, so the Surface is almost like the Surface will probably be better for them, only because they have a little bit more freedom. Where I don't know what the age range is on the Nabi. They say 12, but I mean, I almost think like if you give it to a 10-year-old, they're probably gonna want to throw it back at you.
Yeah,
Almost.
because it looks a little kiddish, I guess, because of
Yes.
the padding, or not the padding, but the
Yeah.
red bumper around it. But I'm thinking, like, man, because the thing when I give this to the girls, it's gonna be like, okay, you have to be very careful with this. But
Yeah.
they use my iPad, and it still works. So so I think they'll be okay, especially as if this will be their own, and so I think they'll be okay with it. But as I was looking at this, I was like, oh wow, this is tougher.
Yeah.
But so I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, it's a nice little thing. And we didn't get them, but they have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 little ports on the back, and you can go buy these little rubberized letters, and they can personalize it. They also make this. My youngest one, who is really into superheroes, is really into the Nickelodeon version of Ninja Turtles. Also,
Mhm.
they make a big Ninja Turtles like holder where this basically goes in the stomach area, and it pretty much just stands there. So it works as a stand for it, because otherwise this is pretty much just a what is this, about a 7-inch tablet. So I mean, it's nice for what they use it for. They use it for games. They use it for some learning. I'm actually trying to update it this weekend so we can get Google Play on here and get it running. So that'll be nice. It has expandable storage, which is always, I don't know. It depends. For a kid, I guess that's better. Kids don't really use clouds and all that stuff for backing up stuff and
Right.
whatnot. So expandable storage for some people, even grown-ups, is a issue at some time, at some points.
Yeah, the Surface you can put in an SD card, so you've got but you can't do that with an iPad, which is one of I think the drawbacks on that. You have to buy whatever size you think you're going to need, and
Yeah.
it's $100 as you go up each time. So
Yeah.
the Surface has a little SD card that you can just slide in there, and I
Now,
like that.
does it have? This is something I was actually going to ask you. Does this have storage on it at all?
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty much a tablet computer. Well, I mean, I guess it's pretty much like a laptop.
Yeah.
In the most sense. Okay, I was just wondering because I have a Chromebook and that thing it doesn't really. I mean, I can store some things on it, but in any sense, there's no physical drive. I can use a thumbstick or something, but I didn't know if there.
Yeah, I think I can't remember if I've got 16 or 32 gigabytes on there. No more than 32, because I didn't get the biggest one. Mainly just because an SD card. I mean,
Yep.
you can get a 36 gigabyte. I think I don't know. You can get a pretty big
SD card.
Yeah, for nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't think I went crazy with the size of it. So that'll be good if they use it up. I mean, I don't know if they're going to even use it. I should have checked after I installed the apps that I did to see how much space was on there. But the only thing that's going to eat up the space is if we start downloading movies. But
Yeah.
they use Netflix, and when they want to watch something, I only have one TV in my house. So if they're gonna fight over and I have no say. If they're here, I'm not watching anything on TV until after they go to bed. But if they are fighting over what they want to watch, it's like they use my the iPad to go in another room or whatever. But now they'll have the ability to either on either their own devices, because I did install Netflix on there, because I didn't set it up under my account, but that's all right. So they'll have that, and they just
hopefully their heads don't explode, because that's what happened around here today.
Yeah.
We have
Now, weren't my girls over there today?
No, your girls are coming over tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Okay.
They were supposed to come over today, but there had to be a trip to the doctors, I guess, today. Mom got sick, so.
Who?
Which is I guess.
Your mom?
No. Their mom. Your girl's mom got sick. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Got very, I guess, 101 fever or something like that today. So they were at the doctors, and apparently your girls were being angels and really nice today to her. So I don't know if that was surprising or not, but but that was
not really. They're usually pretty good when that happens. So
so they're supposed to come over, I think, tomorrow morning. We didn't tell my daughter because it would have been all day of when are they coming, and we thought it would be a nice surprise of when they just showed up. But yeah, from my understanding, they're supposed to be here tomorrow.
Okay.
But we had a little bit of a head explosion in the household today because my dad got a smart TV. His smart TV, for some reason, does not work very well on his network. So we rectified that problem by getting Chromecast. Now, Chromecast, we can stream his YouTube from his cell phone or any other device that we're running Chrome on, and Chromecast actually updated from when we installed it. and you can control the volume on the TV with the volume rocker on your phone now. So yeah, so which is kind of neat.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was a big head explosion today when I was trying to explain. He said, "Now, if I want to get Netflix, now how do I do that? And I got to watch it on my computer, right?" And he went through this whole thing with Netflix because I guess they ask for your social as a security measure or something. And he's my dad, so he doesn't want to give a social out. And anyway, at any rate, I had to explain that that's why they're doing it. Because you're using your card and everything. Uh, anyway, we got to the point of you can use your Google Play. We're an Android family, by the way. We're not big on Apple products. So we got talking about Google Play and buying movies or renting movies if you wanted. Because I said, if you're going to pay for Netflix, it's nice, it's unlimited or whatever. But if you're really only going to rent a movie or you want to buy something like an episode of a TV show, you might as well just buy it and own it if it's something that you'll watch again. So anyway, we're sitting here, we're pulling stuff on YouTube. I'm pulling it from my phone to YouTube. Then I'm pulling, or from YouTube on my phone to the TV, and then I'm pulling stuff from the Play Music to the TV. We had a big head explosion here of, well, how does that work? So that was it was kind of funny, but the whole Netflix thing was. It was a story within itself. I don't know.
I just found out this weekend that I could, or last weekend, that I could, if I was watching something on YouTube on my phone, I could send it to my PlayStation, and then show it on the TV. I didn't know I could do that. It was kind of by accident. I was searching something for the girls, and I saw a little icon on there. I was like, "What is that?" And I pressed it, and then all of a sudden, it was on my TV because we were watching. Yeah, what I was trying to do, I was setting up a playlist on my YouTube account that they could watch that playlist on the TV, of videos they liked. And then I discovered, hey, I could send this stuff to my. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I don't really need it because I got YouTube. There's a YouTube app on my PlayStation, but I thought, well, if I was looking at something really quick, I was like, oh, hey, let me show you this. I can send it to my TV. That was really cool. And then I also discovered that I could Bluetooth to my. I've got a sound bar because I have a very small living room, so I don't have a full-fledged home stereo speaker system. I just have a sound bar because the TVs, these flat screen TVs, for audio are kind of sucky. Sound bar is a nice little substitute in a small room, and it has a Bluetooth capabilities. And now I discovered I could, Bluetooth anything off of my phone to the sound bar. So like my iTunes, or I'll listen to some podcasts and I can just send them over to the sound bar, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we have some. Well, we don't have a sound bar, but we have we had an old God, what are they called? Stereo. I keep wanting to say a compartment, and they're not. They're the different pieces that you assemble. So you buy the amplifier, and then you buy your CD thing, and you would kind of piece it all together. Back when they had tapes, you used to be able to put the tapes, and then you connect everything together. Component. There you go. That's why I'm thinking of compartment. Component stereos. So we have that under the TV stand because they have this this. I don't know. It's a mom and dad TV stand, so it's like this wooden thing with glass, and they have all that stuff under there. And then they have the stereo speakers on two different sides of the room, so they don't care about surround sound or any of that, but they just run their stereo through to their TV and use that at times. My dad hates it because he, for some reason, doesn't like the bass that the stereo gives out, which adds depth to the whole experience. But he's fine with the TV being all trebly. So we got that going on. We have. Did you happen to see the news that Google bought a robotics company? by any chance?
Google or Amazon?
Google. Google
Oh,
buys
no.
robotics company. Apparently, this robotics company makes some sort of cyborgish type equipment or something like that. And Google bought it. They have contracts with the military and stuff like that. Although Google has stated since buying that they are going to fulfill the contracts that the company already has, military and non-military. But after that, they are going to do whatever they want to do with the company, which I kind of think is neat. Maybe we'll have some kind of weird Android thing in the next few years from Google and this company. They've been buying up a lot of stuff this past year. This is just one more that's added to it. And of course, the big thing that they show when they're talking about this is this big looking walking thing with arms. So it really, I can't even place it what it looks like, but it looks like something really familiar to me. It's probably from a video game or something, honestly. Yeah. So they bought a robotics company. So hopefully something cool comes out of that.
It'll be Google. It'll be Google and Amazon, they'll be the gateway to the next phase of modern technology. And, they had the thing. I don't know if you saw. Amazon has those, and whether this was just a gag or what, but they had the drone delivery service. Did you see this? So they have basically. I saw a video that they will launch to deliver their packages. You order something on Amazon, and they will deliver it via a drone that will just helicopter up and fly to your home, drop off the package, and fly back to Amazon.
Wow.
And supposedly, it will shave off. However, I mean, like conceivably, I guess you could get it in the same day. Although since there's an Amazon warehouse in Hazleton, I think, not too far from me, I usually get stuff the next day anyway. Yeah. So, like I said, I don't know if that's true. If that wasn't just that was just a hype video, or if it was something they were really considering. But obviously, I think there's a lot of probably some FAA type stuff they've got to get around. Whether how many of these drones would be flying around through the air? Well, you have to pay extra for the drone service.
No, I could. It probably being fake, but I could believe it only because about 2 months ago, I was reading something about the Home Office, which is I think Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, somewhere.
And they're building a biodome and like a whole community around their offices there. So that's neat one in itself what they got going on. So yeah, the drone service would be great though. That means now how would that work with my things coming from overseas? Would I still have to wait a month, or would that?
I don't know if they would have the drone service for overseas stuff, but
'cause I'll tell you, I one time ordered a phone case, and mistakenly it was coming from China, which took me almost a month and a half to get, and I paid for like 2-day service, and I was calling them going, hey, where's my stupid case for this phone that I didn't order 3 cases, I ordered the 1 case that I wanted. So
I bought I am a Prime Amazon Prime subscriber, so I pay $70 a year or whatever it is to get the 2-day service, because I order enough stuff off of Amazon generally to pay.
Now, is there enough stuff that you order off Amazon that's worth it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did well that, and plus they also they also stream movies. Part of that Prime is Prime Instant Movies, which basically is the same thing that you get off of Netflix. There's a couple of differences. They do have some shows that are different than what's on Netflix, but pretty much it's the same content.
You get all that you get that for free though.
Part of the Prime, part of the Prime.
Okay, because I have the Amazon Instant video, but
So Prime Instant Video is part of your Prime thing. But yeah, I do order enough stuff. Well, now that I've got a Kindle, I'm not ordering as many books, but Amazon has everything now, and I'll often order stuff off of Amazon just because I'll get it in a day. So it's a lot of times much more convenient for me to order something on Amazon, get it the next day, than it is for me to drive to the store and try to find it.
Yeah.
So it's
Sure.
great.
Yeah, we were actually looking up a couple things since we did open gifts today. My mom is just getting into wanting to. I've heard all about this Amazon, and I don't use it or know what it is. So we got her all hooked up for that today, and we were just doing the like the Snap It feature where you can snap a picture of it and it'll look it up and tell you how
Right.
much it is.
Yeah.
We were looking up some of those items and some of that stuff. I mean, she was looking, going into, she was looking for a phone case. We all got new phones. I had Verizon. I had a horrible experience with them, and we had just recently switched to service that everybody says is horrible, but I haven't had a problem so far. We switched to Sprint anyway, and we all got the Moto X. So she's looking for a case, and on Motorola's site, the Otter Defender case is $50. On Amazon, we found it for as low as like $35. So
You got to be careful though, because some stuff is higher on Amazon. Because when I was doing some Christmas shopping, I was looking for something for the girls, and on Amazon it was, I'm gonna make numbers up. It was $50, but on Target it was 30.
yeah,
So it's you do have to.
I watch what I get. I think she's more interested in when she's out shopping. If she's gonna pick up something that's gonna cost her a little bit of money, if she can get it cheaper and just wait a couple days for it.
Right.
Not a necessity or something like I don't know, whatever she would want, a mixer, panini maker or something.
Does the Amazon app support scanning barcodes?
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we got all set up. Mentioning that I got my Moto X, and I freaking love this thing. It's not the highest end spec phone, but it does what I want in a phone. I'm one of the people that will actually talk to my phone and use the function. I can't say it right now because it will go off, but my OK Google Now function, I will use that. The camera has some nice updates. I know the iPhone has it now. This phone has its slow motion video, which I was playing with a little bit this morning when we were unwrapping some presents, because you know how fast a kid can unwrap a present. So I was playing with that feature a little bit. I've only had it for 2 days. 2 days now. I've played with it before, but I really like the features on it. I'm just completely happy with
Nice.
my with my. I don't need the highest spec end phone. I just need the phone that's gonna work the way I want it to work, and this phone really does it. So I'm really happy with it. Like I said, within the last year, I had a Galaxy phone. I went back to an older Nexus phone. This phone I actually got for absolutely nothing because I was porting my numbers over. So that all kind of worked out. And then we got a line that wanted the 5S on their line, the iPhone. So the only big things that they could really tell me that were different from the 5 that we had were the fingerprint scanner and some camera features. But I got this thing out the box. It came with Android Jelly Bean, which was 4.22, and then 4.22 or 4.23, and updated to KitKat already. So I have the newest version that's available through the carrier and everything. So it's a really nice phone. I was going to do an unboxing and everything for it, but so many people have done them already, and it's not like it's brand new. So it's just been nice to play with. Um, the other thing that I did see this week was Samsung announced that they have a gamepad that you can hook your phone up to and use pretty much as a 3DS type of thing. Um, so that is worth mentioning. Coming right around to Christmas, that might be a nice gift for somebody. And then,
Although they'll have to act fast.
huh?
They'll have to act fast. We have 2 more shopping days left. 3 more, I guess.
Yeah,
Count Christmas Eve.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's right around the corner. I don't even know if the gamepad was out yet. I know they do make them because I saw them while I was in the store picking up my phones, but it wasn't the Samsung one. The Samsung one looks more like an Xbox controller with a screen that I guess it flips out from the back and it holds your phone. The other ones that I saw kind of enclose around your phone. So
That's weird.
yeah. So it'll be something I'll probably check out once it's available. But I haven't seen it anywhere yet. We have a little bit of gaming stuff that happened this weekend, which one thing I am really excited about. The dull end of this is Xbox One just came out. Already had a lot of complaints about some bugs, so they sent out updates to update that stuff. The thing that I am interested in, and that has actually put me in line for wanting a Wii U, besides the newer Zelda game, is that Nintendo is diving into old game emulation ROMs. So an emulator, for anybody who doesn't know, is a program, and there are things out there like I used to have an old Nintendo one. This was probably back in the late 90s or early 2000s, and I had things like Wheelchair Mario, Marilyn Manson Mario, Zelda was, I forget, whatever, there was some popular show at the time that they changed it into. They basically go in, screw around with the game, the look of it, and it's still pretty much the same game. There's a couple new things here and there. But Nintendo is finally diving into that, which I kind of find interesting, that they're saying okay to emulation, where people for years now, Xbox, Halo, any kind of mods or anything have really been kind of outlawed and banned in the gaming community due to the companies, and now here's a company that's actually saying, okay, yeah, let's go in and do this. And I see they're starting it for as low as $15 for whatever this ROM whatever this ROM app is, I guess, that you can get through their store on Wii U. I don't know. So that would be kind of neat. Instead of having to have the emulation thing on your computer, you could now do it on your console if you're a Wii gamer.
So is it like a skin? Is that what it is? Like a different.
Yeah. How the ROMs and emulation usually work. It's basically a skin. So
Okay.
like when I had Wheelchair Mario, you would have Mario, and he would just be in a wheelchair, going through, and they would change some of the characters to be like handicapped or something like that.
Huh.
And then when you grew, you would just grow into a bigger wheelchair. So yeah, it's basically, I guess, a skin over what's already sitting there.
Well, I knew that in the latest Batman. What's the latest one? Arkham Origins or whatever.
Yeah.
You can play Batman in the costume of the '60s TV show.
Ooh.
So you could play that entire game as that version of Batman, which I thought would be kind of fun. Going around going, na 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 na. I mean, everything else is probably the same as far as capabilities and everything. You just have the look of, the Adam West Batman costume.
Yeah. Which I actually I bought something I never thought I would buy. I bought Barbie makes a Batman.
Oh, really?
And I actually just bought it for my daughter for Christmas because she wanted it really bad. They also make a Supergirl or Superman, but it's girl. They also make Catwoman, and I believe there's one other that they make, Wonder Woman, I think they make. which the Wonder Woman and the Supergirl are harder to find and more expensive. But I did pick up Batgirl, or Batman Girl, because it's still a Barbie. Yeah. So it has the Barbie boobs, but it's Batman. It says Batman, not Batgirl on it, which is a little confusing. So, yeah, but yeah. So I mean, that the whole gaming thing. I'm hoping PlayStation 3 is gonna come in to the new year with me pretty soon. I would hope, and I'm really wanting to dive into. I believe we were talking about the Uncharted series.
Yep, I have that.
I'm really wanting to jump into it because I was actually looking it up, and Uncharted 3. I have a 3D Asus monitor that I can kick into 3D. So I have the glasses. I've never been able to use it yet, but I saw that they make Uncharted 3 in 3D for gaming. So that would be really cool.
I don't have 3D capabilities on my TV. When I bought the TV I've got, it's the big one we used to have in the old house, and they had the option for 3D, but well, first of all, it really wasn't that in there. I kind of thought that as a fad, and quite honestly, I think it kind of
I still think it is.
Yeah,
I
think it did
I
too.
still think it is.
Because I don't see as much advertising and deal for it. At a movie theater, that's fine, but for home use, Although I did play some, because the PlayStation 3 does support 3D games, and I was over at a friend's house who had a 3D TV, and he had a PlayStation 3, and we did play a game in 3D, and that was kind of cool. But it was like it was sort of like a fancy missile command, if you remember that one from Atari. But it was like the total globe, so the globe would turn around, and it was in 3D, and there was multicolor things. You were trying to block off, I think. I don't remember exactly how it played, but it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So 3D gaming would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm not into it. As far as how they do 3D in movies, I think it's done horribly. I, for the most part, don't even pay to go see a 3D movie, only because most of the time, what's 3D it's a few minutes. The thing that really looks 3D, like what's off is the depth.
Yeah.
To me, with the 3D now, like back in the 80s with the old glasses, or early 90s or whatever, before they changed over to this new Real D type experience, when you had the blue and the red little film glasses, like, to me, a lot of that 3D that was done back then looks better than the 3D that they do now, only because of depth. But yeah, the 3D gaming, I can see a home for that. If they got into that more. I mean, now I don't have TV. I have a 3D TV. I have a 27-inch monitor for my computer that I built here, which is a freaking huge tower case. Like I built a beast, and that was like my present to myself after 6 or 7 years. So when I built my computer, I wanted a nice monitor, and since most of the parts that I was putting in my computer came from Asus, I got their monitor, which I didn't even get because it had 3D capability, but it does just simply have a button that I can push on my monitor controls for 3D, and it just toggles it on and off. Like I said, I haven't really gotten to use it yet, but I could see a home for it on gaming. And so, I mean, we're at the end here. We got the end of the year coming, the end of this podcast. We're gonna
the end of this podcast for this year.
For this year, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, unless Kevin pulls some crap and he doesn't take my half bag of M&M Skittles.
I'll have to think about that. But it sounds pretty good so far. As long as it's a Skittles wrapper, but there are actually peanut M&Ms inside. I'm good with that.
You didn't even ask for that, but I got that Malamar bar just waiting. So yeah, so we're gonna be gone for a few weeks. you know, like I said, we got Christmas, New Year's. We're gonna come back and discuss all that stuff, and I'm sure by the time we hit, we're gonna have so much to catch up on. As far as these, it seems like every day we turn around, there's something new with these movies going on or new movies coming out. So who knows? Name the most obscure character you can think of from Avengers.
Ant-Man.
Okay, well they're already making that. And
Oh,
Paul Rudd's gonna be in it, and Kevin likes it.
There you go. Yeah, there'll be probably more announcements. There'll probably be more developments on what they're going to do with the Ant-Man. We'll probably know for sure who it's going to be, and then I don't know. We'll see. I would be surprised if they release something else. But you know, there are rumors of Doctor Strange and Black Panther being some of the movies possibly coming out. So we shall see.
All right, well that's gonna be it for us. So until next time, keep the streets safe, you 8-bit heroes.